else. Vamos a empezar la primera 30 minutos, más o menos. Pues aquí quizás 20 minutos. 20 minutos, ¿no? Los primeros 20 minutos. Vamos a conversar más. For those of you who want to come in 9:30 strictly, because some of you are from the older group and that was the usual time, we're going to do more game and kind of fun guessing stuff until 10 o'clock, but I have to start strict lesson-oriented stuff at 10 o'clock because it got published that way. So, okay, vamos a ver. Vamos a practicar un poquito. And by the way, because this is a pretty darn large group, I'm going to ask folks if they've got questions, because I'm not quite sure how soon my screen is going to fill up. If you've got a question, either use that little hand up icon, which should be somewhere there at the bottom, but you know, it's different in position depending on if you're on an iPad or if you're on a computer, or, you know, God forbid if you're on a phone, because that kind of limits what you can do. But some people are on a phone sometimes. You may want to use the hands up thing. You may also want to type things in the chat box. So activate the chat box. Doug, tienes una pregunta. Doug, you have a question for me? Oh, and Doug, I think you're on mute.
Yep, I was on mute.
Okay.
No questions. I just was fiddling around trying to figure everything
you're
out.
Playing. Bravo, bravo. Excelente. Bueno, vamos a ver. We're going to begin. Vamos a jugar con algo primero. Uy, ¿dónde está mi? Y aquí viene Mary. Ok. Bueno, vamos a jugar con un juego de adivinar. Adivina. Guess. We're going to do un juego. Es un juego. Vamos a practicar con un juego. We're going to practice with a game, and we'll kind of test your skills, and you can kind of see what you can understand. If you're a brand new newbie, don't be nervous about it, but do listen for the big idea, the general gist. Okay. Voy a describir algo, something. Voy a describir una persona o un lugar, a place, o voy a describir una cosa, a thing. It's like a 20 questions, except I'm going to give you all the clues. And if you're like my Thursday night group and you got somebody who's isn't there always one smart aleck in the group who just knows everything and they guess everything before everybody else? Espero que no. So I'm going to mete out my clues very sparingly. Ustedes los estudiantes necesitan una pluma quizás y un papelito para apuntar. You know, you may need a little pen and paper just to, when I'm gonna fix my virtual background here, just to write down your guesses. Okay, a ver. I can see it had things wrong. Okay, vamos a ver. Bueno, primero, voy a decirles, voy a hablar de una persona. Voy a describir una persona, de verdad, ¿ok? ¿Entienden? Bueno, entonces quizás ustedes quieren apuntar un poquito, ¿no? Apuntar un poquito. Y tengo que ajustar algo. Bien, mejor. Ok. Bueno, esta persona es un hombre, no es una mujer, es un hombre.
Sí.
Es un hombre muy famoso. Es un hombre muy famoso porque es actor. Es actor famoso. ¿Vale? Es un actor. No actúa mucho. No actúa nunca en la televisión. No. Actúa principalmente, por lo general, actúa en las películas. Bien, entonces no es actor de la televisión, es actor de las películas. Muy famoso. Bueno, tiene unos 40 años, 45 años, no sé exactamente, más o menos tiene 40, 45 años, ¿vale? Bien. Este actor muy famoso tiene una reputación, tiene la fama de tener novias, oye mamacita, novias muy jóvenes. A este actor le gustan mucho las mujeres muy jóvenes. Aunque él tiene 45 años,
45 años.
prefiere tener una novia de 25 años, 28 años. Siempre. Ok, vale. Bueno, cuando era niño, cuando este actor era muy niño, sí trabajaba de actor en la televisión cuando tenía 12 años, sí actuaba en la televisión, pero ahora no trabaja ahora en la televisión, nunca, solamente en películas. Bueno, en una película de las muchas películas muy famosas de ese actor, la película tiene como character, como personaje, un oso. Un oso enorme, un oso de tipo grizzly. ¿Entienden?
Bear.
¿Saben ustedes quién es? Okay.
DiCaprio.
Ok. La última pista, the last clue. La última pista es que su película más famosa es, sí, la película Titánico, ¿sí? Del barco enorme que hundió en un desastre, muy famoso, ¿sí? Bien, él. Ok, vale. La segunda cosa. Ok. La segunda pista. Y perdí mis pistas. Momentito. And by the way, you're going to do a game like this next week when you come back. I will describe it for you a little bit later. Okay. No
What was the movie about the bear? The Reverend.
¿Cuál es el título de la película?
The Reverend.
Revenant.
Oh.
Revenant, sí.
He was just in Don't Look Up.
Sí, sí, tiene. Bueno, este actor, el señor DiCaprio. And when we talk about somebody, we say el señor DiCaprio, because Leo's not here for me to talk to him. El señor DiCaprio. Sí, su película reciente es, sí, se llama Don't Look Up, ¿es verdad? Y se trata, es mala película, Susana. Es mala, no te gusta. A Susana, bueno, escuchen, listen up. A Susana nos dice, Susana nos dice que es mala película. Que a ella no le gustó esa película. She did not like that movie. Okay, no le gustó. She did not like it. Okay. Bueno, la segunda cosa es un lugar. It is a place. Esto es difícil. Esto es muy difícil. Es un lugar. Es un lugar. Es un lugar grande. Este lugar también es famoso. Es famoso. Es un lugar aquí en Estados Unidos. Está aquí en Estados Unidos, ¿verdad? ¿Ok? ¿Vale? Es un lugar... No. Temprano, early, no. Es un lugar muy famoso. Es un lugar enorme. Es mejor decirles a ustedes que no es un lugar grande, sino, but rather, es un lugar enorme. Y es algo, y no es un lugar natural, no está en la naturaleza, no. Es un lugar, es un edificio.
Okay.
New York.
Okay.
Nowhere.
Es un edificio que tiene muchos pisos. Tiene muchos pisos. ¿Vale? ¿Sí?
Empire
State Building.
No.
Okay.
Es un lugar donde es un lugar que muchas personas visitan pero hay otras personas que trabajan en este edificio, ¿ok? Está en una ciudad
Chicago.
grande, no está en Chicago, no. Está en una ciudad en el norte de Estados Unidos, en una ciudad donde hace frío en el invierno. Hace mucho frío en esta ciudad en el invierno, sí, en el norte. Ese lugar, las mujeres están interesadas más que los hombres, creo, en mi opinión, en ese lugar. Es un lugar de interés, de interés más para las mujeres que para los hombres, en mi opinión. Tiene muchos restaurantes, este lugar tiene muchas tiendas, muchísimas tiendas. Tiene el número más grande de tiendas de todos Estados Unidos. Hillary.
Yeah, the World Mall in Minneapolis. I can't remember.
Sí, se
The
llama
Mall of America.
Se llama,
Mall of America,
sí, ¿cómo se llama? What's it called? Se llama Mall of America. ¿Cómo se dice en español? Diríamos el centro comercial de las Américas. Centro comercial es como se dice mall, ¿sí? Un centro comercial. Bueno, vale, fantástico. La tercera cosa es una cosa. No es una persona, no es un lugar, no es un lugar. Es una cosa, es algo. It is something, es algo, ¿ok? Es algo, no está vivo, it is not alive. Es un aparato mecánico. Es un aparato mecánico, ¿verdad? Es un aparato mecánico, pero no hace mucho ruido. Ruido, noise. No hace, does not make. No hace mucho ruido.
Are you saying it's a cheap electronical thing?
Es un
Barat?
aparato. Aparato es a device.
Oh,
Es un aparato mecánico, ¿ok? Es posible tener este aparato, es posible tener este aparato en varios colores. Azul, blanco, negro, verde, no sé, rojo, claro. Ok. Bien. No es una cosa decorativa. No es decorativa. Pero a muchas personas les gusta el diseño, design. El diseño es interesante, pero no es decorativo, ¿vale? Es algo que se usa todos los días.
Is it an Apple product?
Es un producto de Apple. No,
Okay.
no es producto de Apple. Pero sí tiene partes electrónicas dentro del aparato. Sí tiene partes electrónicas. Sí, tiene partes de componentes de computadores en el aparato. Sí, vale, entonces, es de un tamaño, es bastante grande. Una persona, dos personas, 3 o 4 personas, por lo menos 4.
Electrónico carro.
Muy bien, Bill. Pero específicamente, ¿qué tipo de carro? ¿Qué tipo de carro?
Tesla.
Oh.
Fantástico. Sí, qué inteligentes ustedes. Qué inteligentes son. Qué inteligentes son. Y voy a perdón. ¿Qué pasó? Momentito. Momentito, porque voy a describir esto. ¿Y qué
Where's that
pasó?
background screen?
Sí. ¿Dónde? Momentito. Tengo que... ok. Sí, ¿pueden ver? Sí. El Tesla. Y dentro
Side.
del carro Tesla, sí, es un carro electrónico. No usa gasolina. No usa petróleo, ¿verdad? Y dentro del auto, dentro del carro electrónico que se llama Tesla, no tiene panel de instrumentos. No hay panel de instrumentos. Tiene como una pantalla, Pantalla, sí. Tiene como pantalla, pero no tiene instrumentos en un panel, ¿entienden?
Mm.
¿Verdad? Ok. Vale. Fantástico. Ok. Y vamos a empezar en un minuto. I will want you to do a version of our little guessing game for your compañeros de clase, your class. Yeah, next week. So next week, and remember, you're going to be doing this in segregated groups that are smaller groups according to ability. And there'll be maybe one or two of you that we're still figuring out, perhaps. But you're going to describe some things next week, but I'll explain that a little bit later. Jan, ¿tienes una pregunta? You have a question, Jan? No, okay, vale. Okay. Fantástico. Ok, vamos a comenzar. We're going to start now. Como, ya casi son las 10, almost 10 o'clock. We're 1 minute shy. I'm going to start by showing you, especially if you are a new person. Many of you have been working, you work on the side with Duolingo. Can you see the screen? Duolingo is good. If you have not tried this yet, please do so because it is super, super fun and super great. It is called language transfer, and it's got a bunch of languages. So you have to tell it eventually Spanish, but I'll send you the link to this. It is a great podcast, and each podcast is super short. Each podcast is usually about 7, maybe a long one will be 11 minutes. And this little podcast is a good thing where you can fit in some Spanish. And no matter, and I would say start with lesson 1, even if you're super experienced. I don't know, it goes to over 80 of these. It will always explain something you either don't know. It will either explain something you don't know, or it will explain something that you do know in a new and refreshing way that makes it very easy to learn. And it's just like a prof and a student sort of riffing off of each other, except although it sounds very natural, like they're just riffing off each other, he actually has a very specific plan, which I can tell because I know what's going through his mind once he starts to unwind his little lessons. So that podcast, languagetransfer.com, no, not .com, .org, languagetransfer.org, I would say absolutely get that and use that. And, you know, while you're doing the not fun chores of your day, or the fun, you know, doing your walk of the day, turn that puppy on and, you know, learn some Spanish. You will love it. And if you don't love it, just don't tell me. Okay. So languagetransfer.com. Duolingo is always good. It is always good. Generally, when we open, I open up class to questions. I am not going to do that today because we're coming back from that holiday hiatus, if you will. But generally, I open the first 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes for just kind of open questions from anybody about anything that you did on Duolingo or language transfer or whatever, where you say, well, I was kind of listening to this, but this point puzzles me. And that is a-okay. All right. Vamos a empezar. We're going to begin. Vamos a practicar con muchísimas cosas. We're going to begin with many things. The guessing game, I will preview for you. So I'm going to tell you very, very soon what your assignment will be. And sadly, I thought it would be for next week, but sadly, next week is MLK. And we are not scheduled for class on MLK. I'm kind of toying with the idea of just opening up for maybe a quick hour if you guys want to do that. But we won't do the formal lesson plan next week because I'm not scheduled. And if people are strict in observing MLK as truly a holiday as the feds do, then I would be kind of, violating. So yeah, I'll probably open up, but we'll just do kind of some fun stuff and questions. Okay, we're going to begin with how to ask me or how to talk to your companions to say you don't know something. Oh. Qué buena pregunta. What a, yeah, there are different ways. ¿Cómo se dice? I don't know.
No
No
sé.
sabe.
No sé. No sé. Make sure you have your chat box open. No sé. I don't know. That is the classic. If you have your chat box turned on, you can see how that goes. No sé. And that little sé gets an accent mark. Why does it do that? It does that because it is a special verb. And then there is another word, sé, which means many, many different things. Oddly enough, that word sé can have about 6 different meanings. But sé, when it's written down, gets a little accent marks, and that means I know. So if we say I don't know, it's no sé. But there are other and more interesting and more varied ways to say I don't know. So there's only one of these from this video that I do not like. We're going to, and I will cut that one out. And the reason I don't like it is that it has too many words to string together that would probably be, sadly, just a little confusing for some of you, for many of you. So we're going to take a look at the easy ones, but sometimes, you expect somebody to come back at you with this idea, well, I know that no sé means I don't know, but then they come back at you with a different response. So any of these things mean I don't know, and you may want to try that out either this session or our next formal class session, but you may want to take a couple notes. I will give you the link to this audio, so do know that, you don't have to take mad notes.
Uno, ni idea o no.
Ni idea. Here's a different way to say no sé. Ni idea. Or no tengo idea. No tengo idea. I don't have an idea. Ni idea. Yeah. Ni is a word which we often use to, in some negative expressions, but not all. Some. Ni technically means neither nor. It can be used as ni ... ni again. But sometimes it's used by itself, like with this, I think of ni idea. Okay, she's going to show you some examples.
No tengo idea. This chunk and the following two are informal ways to say that you don't know. Same as in English, we have the same concept, no clue, no idea, or I don't have an idea.
So yeah, so if that's what you mean, ni idea is great.
But make sure to use ni instead of no. Ni by itself means no or not a. Now, let's watch an example. Oye, ¿sabes cuándo termina la escuela? No, ni idea.
Yeah, okay, so that's one way to respond when you don't have any idea.
Número 2, ¿quién sabe?
¿Quién sabe? Sabe is also knows. How come sé sounds so different from sabe? Sabe has 2 syllables. It's much longer. Sabe is the word for know when you're talking about one human being. See, sabe. ¿Quién sabe? ¿Quién sabe? Who knows? ¿Quién? Who knows? ¿Quién is only talking about this many people. Okay, so sabe is a singular verb form of the verb saber, to know. So ¿quién sabe? Who knows?
I mean, if I don't know the answer, please refer to me with the person who will, right? And believe it or not, we use it a lot in Mexico, which is similar to the English answer, who knows? You might catch this tone when echando el chisme con tu amiga, como por ejemplo, oye manita, ¿y por qué se divorciaron?
Ah, oye, manita, ¿y por qué se divorciaron? Manita is a shortening of the word hermana, sister. So it's like the female version of bro. Yeah, like the female version of bro. Yeah. Oye, manita, ¿y por qué se divorciaron? Why did they get divorced? You know, so she's talking about gossip. When people gossip, they might use quién sabe.
Ay, no, pues, ¿quién sabe?
Well, who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
Número 3. ¿Y por qué
Here's the one we're going to skip. Wow, that's way too many words. That is not really a good chunk because that's not going to come to mind. Something that strings together 7 or 8 words. You're going to memorize 7 or 8 words in it? Yeah. No, you're not. Of course, you're not going to.
Ways of saying no sé. For example, no sabes si vas a ir a la cena del
Oh,
trabajo.
momento. Okay, here comes the new one.
No lo tengo a la mano.
No lo tengo a la mano. This one you could string together because you know tengo.
Yeah.
Tengo. Tengo tells you under. I have. No lo tengo. No, it I have a la mano.
I don't have it.
I don't. Oh, we might say in English, I don't have that at hand. We sometimes say at hand, don't we? Yeah, in English, at hand. And by the way, in English, that's pretty weird. At hand? At hand? What the heck is that supposed to mean? Well, but it's just the way we say it. Well, this is just the way they say it. No lo tengo a la mano. I don't have it handy.
You may use this chunk when you're trying to give some information, but you do not recall having it, or, well, let's be honest. You will try to find it after, right? So instead of replying with a rude no sé, you can say, hola José, ¿me podrías decir dónde está el archivo de la señora González, por favor?
Okay, so she's going kind of fast there, so I'm going to stop that. Hola José, ¿sí? Me podrías decir, could you tell me? To me, could you tell? Me podrías decir, ¿dónde está el archivo de la señora González?
Yeah.
Where Mrs. Gonzalez's file is, right? And notice when we talk about Señora González, not to her, but about here, then we have to use it as la Señora González. That's just the way they do that. Okay.
No lo tengo a la mano, pero déjame buscarlo.
No lo tengo a la mano. Well, I don't have it right here at hand, handy, pero déjame buscarlo. Let me look for it. Déjame buscarlo. Okay, well, the déjame buscarlo, you won't have to use in your guessing game, but okay.
Gracias. Chunk alert. Déjame buscarlo is a perfect example of a chunk you can add when using an alternative no sé. So you could also use it like this. No sé, pero déjame buscarlo.
So this part, the déjame buscarlo, you may want to commit to memory for. This is something that you will probably, as a tourist, not have to say, but you may very well hear when you are in a store. If you can't find something and somebody goes to look for it for you, but they need a moment, they will tell you, they will say to you, the person behind the clerk in the store, or the person in the government office, if you got to go in with something, your visa or whatever, déjame buscarlo, let me look for it. You may hear people say that to you. Déjame is let me, permit me, allow me. Déjame buscarlo. Buscarlo. And one thing you'll find out if you go and listen to the language transfers, that they tell you that word lo means it. When it is an object pronoun, when it is receiving the action of the verb, and that little word lo is a good generic word for it. Déjame buscarlo, let me look for it, something. Okay.
For
Vale.
more chunks like this, make sure to download the free Essential Spanish Chunking Kit, where we
Okay,
connected
well, let's skip that. Let's
The
move
link
on.
is
I
in
think
the
we have one
description.
more. Hay algo más.
Número 6. No recuerdo en esos momentos.
So those of you who are a little more, some of you may be able to use this one. No recuerdo en estos momentos. I can't, I don't remember. Literally, I don't remember, or I don't recall at this time, right now, in these moments. I don't recall in these moments. No recuerdo en estos momentos. And that's an I don't know when, again, you're deferring a question till later.
As implied
She'll
in
show
the
you when they use
statement, you use this chunk when you can recall or remember something. Instead of saying no sé or no sé de qué me hablas, which is considered a bit rude if you're saying like that, it is better to say, ¿cuál era el nombre del chico que vino de Francia? Ay, no recuerdo en esos momentos. Número 7. No tengo certeza.
This one is really, esto ayuda mucho. This one helps a lot. No tengo certeza. Again, you no tengo. Tengo. No tengo just makes it negative. No tengo certeza. I do not have certainty. So, ¿cómo se dice en inglés? Como, más como,
I'm not certain.
I don't know for sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know for sure. Sí.
Yo uso mucho este chunk because, believe it or not, sometimes we are 90% sure we know something, but what about the other 10%? If you say something correct, there might be consequences. So instead, you can reply, Señorita María, ¿en qué año fue la independencia de México? Ay, maestra, me parece que en 1810, pero no tengo certeza. Número 8. No quiero darte una respuesta incorrecta.
Okay. That one's getting too long, but we gave you some good alternatives. Yeah. I don't want to get into the super long ones, and I'll give you the whole video so you can watch later if you do want to watch the long ones. Was the last one? No, the other ones get a little more for longer questions. You want just some interesting alternatives to no sé. Okay, bien. So a few fun things. I will send you the link to that so you can watch it again later. And especially if you're a more advanced person, you say, ooh, I want to know some of those harder things. Okay. Some of the more difficult things. Okay, vale. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? ¿Qué vamos a practicar? Today we're going to practice. We're going to review some number things. But before we review numbers, I'm going to have you talking about items that you buy. That's going to be our main focus for today. So we're going to review a lot of things with numbers. Again, you're going to be in with some corresponding groups. So don't be nervous about knowing specific levels. We'll try to alleviate that problem today. I do want to preview what I want you to prep for homework. And again, the homework, this will not be something we will do next Monday because next Monday is MLK Day. And we're not officially class, so it'll be an unofficial class, non-homework related. But what you're going to prep for the following Monday, which is going to be el 24. Wow, that's going to be the 24th already. Ay. Cómo vuela el tiempo, how time flies. I am going to want you to devise for your little small group discussion some guessing game items. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick an item, a thing around your house, or, well, it doesn't have to be a thing around your house. It could be something that you have a photo of or something that you can show. If it's too big to show, then, you can just give away the clue. But you're going to basically, at your own level, in your own level appropriate group, you're going to describe this thing. You're going to describe this thing. And you may encourage people to give you some questions about that thing if they cannot guess it. So it'll be kind of like a 20 questions thing, all right? And you will need to give people clues that are descriptive. So I'll give you an example of what you will prepare for homework. Como por ejemplo, I may say, sí, esta cosa es una cosa que no está en mi casa, pero sí tengo la cosa en la casa, pero no exactamente en la casa. No está en la cocina, no está en la sala, no está en el baño. Está en el garaje. Lo tengo en el garaje. Generalmente. Es algo que se usa para algunas personas, sí, para algunas personas es algo para transporte, solamente para transporte. Pero para muchas personas se usa para hacer ejercicio. Para hacer ejercicio. Tiene 2 ruedas. Dos ruedas.
Bicicleta.
Una bicicleta, exacto. Okay, ¿entienden? You understand how this will go? You're going to describe things. Now, let's say that your partners get kind of stuck somewhere. Get kind of stuck and they want to, because you're going to be in a group of maybe 4 or 5 people. Let's say that your partners need to ask you a question. You may need to be able to use some of these words. ¿Pueden ver? Can you see these words? Yeah. You may, as the audience for your small group project that Monday, you are going to want to make sure you're kind of familiar with some of these words, because you may want to, if you can't guess, you may want to ask the person describing something with one of these question words, which we call in grammar-ese interrogatives, right? If you're describing a thing, I'm not sure how much you need a qué hora, but the other ones may be helpful. ¿Cómo? For describing what it's like. ¿Cómo es? What's it like? ¿Cuál? Which means which one? That might be kind of tough to fit in, but ¿cómo? Could be very helpful. ¿Cuándo? Could be very helpful. ¿Cuándo se usa? When do you use it? See?
¿Cuándo?
¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánto? And remember, that's got a plural form, cuántos or cuántas. ¿Dónde? ¿Dónde? Where? See? ¿Por qué is a tougher one because, wow, that involves an elaborate answer, but you might want to use por qué. But, ¿qué? ¿Qué? What? ¿Quién? Who? Okay. ¿Quién? Who? So I want you over the next couple of sessions to get real familiar with those. We're going to dive in real deep on using those. So you may want to choose to interrupt if you really get stuck. Interrupt the person who's describing and ask something. Okay. Como por ejemplo, and I'll give you the link to these words. Como por ejemplo. So for example, you may want to ask the person who's describing something at some point, ¿de qué color es? Because maybe color is a clue. And you may answer as the person giving the clues, el color no importa, no importa. It does not matter, no importa. Or, sí, es es amarillo, es verde, es azul, algo así, ¿no? So you may want to use some of those interrogative words, especially if you're in the higher level groups. The thing you choose to describe your group should be something that probably they can guess within about 5 sentences, 5 little short. Yeah, okay, so pick something key. Don't give your most obvious clues up first. So when I described for you in our little guessing game at the beginning, the Tesla, right? The absolute giveaway would have been, es algo mecánico que no usa gasolina, es una cosa eléctrica y es transporte. Well, boom, somebody is going to get it in the first clue there. So you want to maybe give out 2 clues that are kind of small gimmies at first. ¿Entienden? Understand?
Sí.
Okay, bien. You may want to include, and I'll give you some clue ideas to get you started. Some ideas of donde se usa, where you use it, quién lo usa, who uses it,
¿Cómo
por
se
qué,
dice?
yeah, sí, por qué es importante, why is it important? All kinds of el color, el tamaño, the size. You may use all kinds of different clues, but I want you to describe some kind of thing, kind of in a 20 questions, but not asking 20 questions because that would take a really long time. That would take a little long, but maybe let's call it 5 questions instead of 20 questions. Okay, ¿entienden? ¿Tienen alguna pregunta? Do you have any question about that? See?
Yeah, that has to be today or
No.
now? Okay, next.
No, es
time from now.
tarea, that's
Dos
homework.
semanas.
Okay.
Yeah, and those of you who are in the more beginner groups, pick something very, very simple. You may even, if you're in one of the beginner groups, you may even want to show the thing ahead of time, but it's kind of more fun to have it as a true guessing game. So you'll guess something. So I'm going to give you another example. Otro ejemplo. Un ejemplo más. Un ejemplo más es, voy a describir una cosa. Es algo vivo.
Alive.
Es algo vivo. Es un animal. Es un animal. Es un animal. Es un animal común. Muy común. No es un animal solamente el del desierto. Este animal vive en el desierto, en las montañas, en el bosque, en muchos lugares. Muy común. And interrupt me with a question if you have a question. ¿Es un animal? ¿Es un
¿Es el
animal?
gato?
Grande?
No,
Hunting.
no es un gato. Es un animal, no es grande. No.
It's a, what do you call it? The packs of them.
Viven con muchos. Sí, viven con muchos.
Packs of them, and they howl at night.
No. Buena pregunta. No.
Oh, do
No,
they?
es un animal que vive con otros animales. Pero no es un coyote, no es coyote. Es un animal pequeño.
¿Es jabalino?
Pequeño.
No, es
No,
pequeño. Es
¿Y
pequeño.
nada?
Los jabalíes.
Ratones.
Ratón. Es un ratón. Mouse. Sí,
Wow.
ratón, okay? I could have gone to tiene una cola. It's got a little tail, So,
Is it rat?
no,
Yes.
qué buena pregunta. Ratón no es rat. It
No.
sounds like rat, doesn't it?
What is it?
Ratón sounds like rat.
Mouse.
Ratón
Mm.
is mouse. Ratón is also this thing.
Oh,
Mi casa tiene muchos ratones.
Mi
Both of it.
garaje
Oh,
tiene 2 o 3 ratones. Sí, atrapé un ratón esta mañana. I trapped one mouse today.
Fantastico, Nora.
Sí, ¿de qué
No,
color?
qué
Sí.
terrible.
Yeah, you may be, so you may be
That's
interrupting your
fun.
friend to have fun. Sí, de qué color es, o de qué es grande o es
Yes.
pequeño. Yeah, pueden ver. You can see how this is going to roll, right? See? And it's wide open. You can pick anything, but make it something guessable, not something that, not the gotcha kind of question. You know what I mean? Okay. We're going to also start. Sí, entienden. Otra pregunta. Any other question of how you will do this? Yeah, and you're going to do it at a very, very easy level for yourself. You may need to use a little bit. If you need to use a dictionary, go to www.wordreference.com. I'll put it in the chat box for everybody because this is going to be really easy. And you know what? That is your online dictionary. And it is super comprehensive. And it will show you examples. So mouse, for example, they're going to have an entry that shows you the mechanical mouse. Yeah. And and they'll show you in context how you use that. But don't make it complicated. Make it super simple, right? Don't try to use all kinds of highfalutin vocabulary. Describe something in very simple terms and try to describe it so at least by 5 steps, they should be able to guess it. Okay? Bien? Good rule of thumb. Okay. Bueno, okay, pretty soon we're going to go to breakout rooms. We're going to do a little listening comprehension first. Escuchar. Una cosa muy importante para ustedes antes de practicar, before, antes de practicar, es muy importante escuchar el español muchísimo. It is really important to listen to a lot of Spanish. So we're going to always do this. Now, I always try to find examples where they will do some nice slow examples of Spanish to practice. I don't want to leave you, even though you're in step 2, with the hardest level of practice and the highest speed, because that's not productive for you. Yeah. So we're going to see who all of this video. We're going to see much of this video. We're going to cut some of her longer things and parts, and we're going to do a little bit. We're going to be talking after this video, you're going to be going into smaller groups and talking about things with prices to review numbers a little bit. Okay, so you'll see where we're going to go with this. Pero primero vamos a practicar con un ejercicio de escucha, bien? We're going to start with a listening exercise. I'll stop this if I need to for explanation, because some of the things she'll say, most of you will get, and some you may go for the big ideas. Always go for the big ideas. And when I give you the link for this in the email later on, go back and listen to this again. But you should always listen. Whenever you listen to a video in Spanish, listen once all the way through without stopping, just to get the big idea. And always go back and listen a second time, and then stop for the little items. I'm going to leave the subtitles up for this now, although she speaks nice and slowly. I will say that. And she's going to talk about something that you'll be talking about later.
este fin de semana
Okay, can you hear her? ¿Pueden escuchar?
Sí.
¿Sí? Bien, okay.
quiero hacer un bizcocho de yogur.
Un bizcocho de yogur. ¿Qué es un bizcocho de yogur?
Yogurt
Yogurt
cake.
cake.
A yogurt cake. There are many words depending on the region the Spanish speaker lives in for saying cake. Some people say pastel. Some people say bizcocho. Some people use bizcocho for cookie. You know, depende, depends. But bizcocho, you always know it's a baked item. Okay.
So
she's-
bizcocho is mostly in Spain?
Bizcocho is often used in Spain, but bizcocho, so for example, if I went to certain areas, let's say in Ecuador or Peru, bizcocho would be a more cookie-like, smaller kind of thing, probably. Yeah.
So it's
But you
not
always know,
galletas?
you always know that bizcocho is kind of like galletas. Yeah, cookie. That word galletas is cookie. Yeah. But just know that bizcocho in different regions may be used a little bit differently, but you always know it's a baked good. Yeah. Bottom line is you always know it's a baked good. So bizcocho de yogur, and the de yogur means of yogurt. That means that's the key ingredient. Okay, what makes it different or what gives it a particular flavor?
El bizcocho de yogur es un dulce muy popular
Es un dulce, it's a sweet thing.
aquí en España porque es muy fácil de hacer y además está muy bueno.
So it's what? It's very
Easy to make.
easy to make. Y además means besides or in addition.
My favorite.
Really
Very good.
Está muy bueno. Wow. That means it tastes really good. It tastes really good. Es muy bueno would mean it's like nutritiously good for you. And you know, bizcocho, yeah, but está muy bueno means tastes really good. Okay. Está muy bueno changes the meaning a little to say, ooh, may not be good for you, but it tastes good. Okay.
Pero tengo un pequeño problema
I have a
Little problem.
no problem.
porque no tengo ninguno de los ingredientes
What is she? ¿Por qué?
No ingredients, it doesn't have any.
I don't have ingredients. What if you don't know this word ninguno? You know that ni idea meant no clue. So if you don't know the word ninguno, can you get the idea that this means negative?
No tango.
Yeah, no, from the no tengo. So if you don't get the word ninguno, you get the idea it means none, none. But
None
you still can get the gist, the big picture, even if you don't know that word ninguno, okay? No tengo ninguno de los ingredientes necesarios. And look, the necessary ingredients. Ingredientes necesarios. There is an adjective talking about ingredientes.
para hacer el bizcocho de yogur. No tengo nada.
No tengo nada. I have
Nothing.
nothing. Okay.
Así que he hecho una lista
He hecho means I have made.
de ingredientes para ir a comprar en un supermercado online.
I have made a list of ingredients to go buy it online.
Y quiero que vengas conmigo.
And I want you to come with me, she says.
Estos son los ingredientes del bizcocho de yogur.
Estos son los ingredientes. These are the ingredients. Okay.
Yogur, obviamente, es un bizcocho.
Yogur. Obviamente,
yogur.
obviously.
Harina.
Harina. ¿Qué es harina?
Flour.
La harina, flour. Y recuerden ustedes, se pronuncia harina, no es harina, no, harina, la H, the H. No se pronuncia la H. It's spelled with an H, but we don't pronounce it. Sí, la harina.
Levadura.
Levadura.
Leavening.
Leavening. Yeah. Baking powder.
Azúcar.
Azúcar.
Sugar.
Sugar. El azúcar.
Aceite de oliva.
Aceite de oliva.
Olive
Olive oil.
Y un limón.
Y un limón.
Además, tengo un presupuesto para esta compra.
That word presupuesto you do not know. Tengo un presupuesto. I have a budget. I have a limit. Presupuesto is a budget, meaning a top limit that you cannot exceed. Tengo un presupuesto. I've got a budget para esta compra, for this purchase.
Solamente puedo gastarme 10 euros.
I can only spend 10 euros. Okay. No son dólares. These are not dollars. So, in exchange rate, it might not mean a lot to you, pero sí, solamente 10 euros. I can only spend this amount. So you're going to hear her using a lot of numbers here.
No puedo gastar más de 10 euros.
I cannot spend. Gastar is spend money. Okay? Not spend time, but spend money. I can't spend more than 10 euros.
En todos los ingredientes.
In all the ingredients.
Vamos a ver si podemos encontrar todos los ingredientes por menos de 10
euros. Menos.
Less.
Más. Menos.
Less.
More or less.
Less. Okay. And one of your previews for the next lesson, not today, but is going to be a little bit of a lesson that we will have next week on más and menos.
euros. ¿Tú qué crees? ¿Crees que podremos encontrar todos esos ingredientes por menos de 10 euros?
You think we can buy this for less
Vamos
than
a
10?
verlo.
Let's see.
Esta es la página web de un supermercado online.
This is the web page of an online supermarket. Bueno.
Este supermercado no es solamente un supermercado online, es un supermercado español que tiene muchas tiendas en todas las ciudades españolas.
This is a Spanish supermarket that has what?
regular stores.
Lots of stores.
In the city.
Pero nosotros vamos a hacer la compra online hoy. Entonces, el primer ingrediente que necesito es el yogur. Vamos a buscar en esta página web, vamos a buscar el yogur.
Vamos a buscar es
Look for.
look for. Search. Look for.
Aquí tenemos todas las ofertas del supermercado, todas las...
¿Qué es oferta?
Ya no sé.
Offers.
Offer.
Oferta is offers sales. We would call it a sale. All the stuff for
cosas
sale.
que están rebajadas de precio.
Rebajadas de precio is a definition of oferta. Reduced price. Yeah, sí.
Pero nosotros no vamos a buscar aquí porque hay demasiadas cosas.
Now, we're not going to look here because there are too many things.
Nosotros vamos a buscar en esta barra de búsqueda. Aquí hay una barra donde podemos escribir lo que necesitamos. Entonces, lo primero que necesitamos es el yogur. Voy a escribir yogur natural. Natural quiere decir que no tiene ningún sabor pues a fruta o a nada, eso, simplemente el yogur hecho con la leche. ¿Vale? Vamos a ver si podemos encontrar un yogur muy barato. Vamos a ver, Aquí, por ejemplo, tenemos un pack de 6 yogures por 74 céntimos. Es muy barato. Así que es...
¿Cuánto cuesta? How much does that cost?
74.
Sí, 74, sí, es barato, ¿no? Es barato.
Barato.
It's cheap. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to let her talk for a little
puede
bit and then
ser,
pretty
esta
soon you're going to go in
puede
groups.
ser una buena opción. Así que voy a darle a añadir. Voy a hacer clic en añadir.
Voy a hacer clic. I'm going to click on añadir, which means add to the cart. Añadir es add. Okay. So she talked about 74. I'm going to leave the rest of that video for you to watch on your own, just for fun, to kind of review some prices and things. And what we're going to move on to next is precios. Precios. Bueno, ustedes van a hablar de precios. So I'm going to need to put you into smaller groups. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to talk about a grocery store items, ¿sí? Ustedes van a hablar en sus grupos pequeños, ¿sí? De 5 cosas. Ustedes van a hablar de 5 cosas. You're going to talk about the 5 things. Those of you who are more advanced, those of you who are less advanced, I'm going to give you a special set of directions. Most of you are going to talk about 5 things that you buy most often at the grocery store and what they cost. ¿Cómo se dice it costs?
¿Cuánto costa?
Yeah. I'm going to put it in the chat box.
¿Cuánto costa?
Cuesta. It costs. Cuesta. Wait a minute. What if one of the 5 things I buy the most is tomates? And tomates is more than one. What will I change that word cuesta to?
Question.
Is it going to be cuestas or cuestan? Cuestan.
We don't see the
To say they cost, cuestan. Bien?
Marilyn, it's not coming through. In the
Oh, it's not coming through because I forgot to take off my share. Hang on. Por mi culpa. My fault. Momento. Un momento, por favor.
No problem.
Lo siento, sí, no hay ningún problema. Sí hay problema, pero... Stop share, okay. And this might be why Zoom wanted me to update. Because it built in some little problems. Hay problemas. Okay, pueden verme. You can see me now, right?
Yeah, but nothing in the text, in the chat.
Can you see that? Okay. Yo entiendo por qué. I understand why. I see why. I needed to change something here. Cuesta. Sí, mejor, better. Una cosa. If you talk about a single thing, pero. Si hablas de tomates, if you talk about tomatoes, it's more than one thing. So you can't use cuestas, because cuestas with an S of them would mean you cost, like you're on the grocery shelf and you're not. So, okay, cuestan, they cost. Cuesta, it costs. Cuestan, they cost. So you're just gonna, in your group, and each one of you is gonna pick 5 things and pick some easy things. Yeah, it doesn't have to be highfalutin. En el supermercado, 5 cosas que tú compras. 5 things that you buy. Y el precio, and the price.
And we use dollars or?
Oh, sí, dólares. Sí. No, you're not doing exchange rates.
How do you say
Cents. Centavos.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Centavos. I'll put it in here. Centavos.
Here we go.
That's a pretty easy word, right?
about
Right.
a
You're going to be
pound?
talking in dollars, and dollars is dólares or dólar. if it's one. Bien?
How about a pound? Plus,
Ah,
Kilo.
Kilo.
How do you
a
say
la
it?
libra, a la libra, a la libra is a pound.
Approximately? Is that what you would say? if you wanted-
Aproximadamente, sí, más o menos. Más o menos, okay?
Más o
Now,
menos.
two of you are going to be in groups where you're going to be talking about smaller, when I got to kind of hustle here, are going to be talking about a more limited, because some of you have more limited vocabularies. Those of you who are in the lower groups, you're going to limit it. And if you choose to do this in the higher groups, you can do that too. You're going to limit it to el pan. ¿Qué es el pan?
Bread.
Bread.
Bread. So here you might want to take a note. El pan. El queso.
Cheese.
Cheese. Los huevos.
Eggs.
Eggs.
los plantos,
La hamburguesa.
Hamburger.
Hamburger.
La hamburguesa. Y muy general,
La leche.
La leche.
Leche.
la fruta. Pan, queso, huevos, hamburguesa, fruta. 5 cosas. If you in advanced group want to keep it that simple, you can, but you can get more elaborate. Bien? ¿Entienden? Understand?
Sí.
Sí, sí.
I have a question here.
Sí, sí.
So, what do you say that, like, if you say that this question is for more than one, so,
Sí, sí.
but if you buy 1 carton of eggs that has more than one, you use cuesta or cuestan? You count the carton or the inside?
Just like we do in English, you might say los huevos cuestan, and you may not.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you may say un cartón de huevos, a carton of eggs. And then it is cuesta, because then it means
Okay, it's 1
cartón
carton.
cuesta.
You count the carton. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I would say make it super simple. Make it super simple.
Okay, gracias.
It is gonna, no hay de qué, no worries. I am gonna need to get you into your groups, and this is gonna be just a little challenging at first. And I had this all lined up, and of course, now that I need to find it. ¿Dónde está? Aquí está. Here it is. Okay, so denme un minuto. I have to do this. And I wish I could do this very, very rapidly, but no es posible. Okay. And I need to, un momentito. I'm hoping this will go a little bit faster. Once I get a little better, I unfortunately cannot tell it to. Oop. I have my names, but I've got some people who were on and had to drop, so it was a little bit problematic here. ¿Dónde está Pat? Aquí está Pat. Yay.
and do we go to 11 or 11:30?
11. We're going to go a little. ¿Qué pasó? Okay. Yay. And I promise you it will be a little bit smoother next time. It's just that I'm struggling with the way it's making me set this up. Uy, a ver. Ok, a ver. 4.
If I throw one out, I'd like to be corrected. How's that while you're doing that? El pan cuesta $1.
Sí, bien.
That was good.
$1. Ay,
Dólar.
qué suerte. Wow.
Where,
you
where,
were-
where?
¿Dónde? Yeah, where is
¿Dónde?
that? Wow, wow. My
Poquito
family has,
pan.
my family has expensive tastes, obviously. Okay. Quizás we're almost there, folks. Oui.
Seesaw.
And okay, I've got Cindy. ¿Dónde está? I've got one out. Okay, momentito. Wow, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I promise. Oy. And I'm going to have to figure out a faster way to do this next time. But I am really, truly almost there.
Because we could each just take a turn and you could correct us.
Well, we could, but that will be. Okay, I think this is going to do it. A ver. Okay, you're going to have to hit your join button. Perdón. Excuse me taking a while with that. Ooh, do I have Padmini in? Ooh, Padmini, ¿qué pasó? What happened? Okay. And Miguel, do I have you joined in yet? Sí o no? Okay, vale, bueno. Hola. Hey.
Hola.
You are my group that I'm not acquainted with you guys yet. So, okay, vamos a hablar, sí, de los ingredientes. Sí, ¿cuánto cuestan? ¿Y cuánto cuestan?
Mi nombre es Arlene.
Arlene.
Sí, not, yeah. That's part of,
Excelente.
sí.
Excelente, Arlene.
Sí.
Excelente. Bueno, dime por favor, dime por favor los ingredientes. Your ingredients. ¿Sí? Por ejemplo, yo... no, sí.
Por favor, repeat.
Okay.
You want to have our ingredients?
Sí, claro. ¿Y cuánto cuestan? And how much they cost?
Okay.
And I'm getting a feel for what level you guys are at. That's why I'm in this group.
Okay, so I thought we were going in a grocery store, so I misunderstood.
Sí,
let's
sí.
just, necesito comprar el queso.
Y, sí. ¿Y cuánto es el queso? ¿Cuánto es? ¿Cuánto cuesta?
$5.
5, ok, vale.
Y necesito comprar el pan.
Pan, bien.
Costa $2.
$2, ok, vale.
Y necesito comprar los huevos.
Huevos, bien, bien.
Un cartón costa $3.
$3, ok, vale, bien. Fantástico.
Y necesito comprar la hamburguesa.
Ok, vale. ¿Y cuánto cuesta la hamburguesa?
$8 por pound.
Sí, a la libra por libra, sí, sí, cuesta más, it costs more, cuesta más, claro.
Y necesito comprar café.
Oh, café.
Yes,
Café.
Café.
Y tu café, sí, yo también. A mí me gusta el café también. A mí me encanta el café. ¿Y cuánto cuesta tu café favorito? Tu café favorito, ¿cuánto cuesta?
Pete's.
¿Qué?
Pete's costa $12.
Ok, vale, bien. Ok, fantástico. ¿Alguien más? Doug, ¿tienes una idea? Doug, do you have an idea? Ingredientes? You want to talk about some ingredients? ¿Cuánto cuestan? How much they cost?
Yo necesito pan.
Ok. ¿Y cuánto cuesta el pan, Doug? ¿Cuánto cuesta el pan que compras?
My wife,
La esposa, tu esposa.
mi esposa buys the food.
Tu esposa compra toda la comida. Sí, mi esposo no compra comida. Casi nunca. Almost never. Casi nunca. Bien, entiendo. Entonces, tú, ni idea del precio, Doug. ¿Ni idea?
Ni una buena idea.
Bien, ok, vale, entiendo, perfecto. Y está bien. Bueno, y también, oh, I'm sorry, this is you is literally, pero no, Arlene, ¿sí?
Sí.
Arlene, ¿quieres decirme un poquito de un precio? You want to tell me a little bit about prices?
Muchos dólares. Los cosas cuestan muchos dólares.
Cuestan, sí, la comida cuesta más ahora que antes.
Sí.
En el pasado. Sí, el precio de la comida sube. El precio de la comida es más alto ahora que antes.
Sí.
Exacto, ¿entienden?
Sí.
¿Verdad? Por ejemplo, sí, me imagino, sí, $8 por hamburguesa, sí, es muy normal. Bueno, el pan favorito de mis hijos, el pan favorito de mis hijos cuesta $3 o $4 por una barra de pan. Es ridículo, pero es así. Los huevos cuestan, generalmente para mí, cuestan $2.50 o $3. Bien. La fruta depende, ¿sí? Los plátanos, Los plátanos cuestan, por ejemplo, 60 centavos a la libra. 60 centavos a la libra, más o menos. Los plátanos, les gustan los plátanos. They really like bananas y es así. Ok. ¿Algo más o no? Anything else? No? Bien. I'm going to give people a 1 minute time limit, and I'm going to preview for you guys a little bit. Un minuto más. I'm going to tell everybody about 1 more minute. I am going to let you know in a preview. What we're going to do is next week, we're also going to devise something a little more specific for you to prep ahead of time. And one of the things you're going to prep is what a normal grocery visit costs. El total, the total. So you practice a bigger number, bigger number, and I'll give you some specific things there. Bien. And a lot of you know, a fair amount. I'm not going to put you, well, I may put some of you in a little bit lower group just so that you get your feet wet. But if that gets to be too easy, always feel free to tell me and I can move you up to a bigger group. And I promise next week I will be faster in how I can set these up. My problem is I list everybody's name and then the way it brings up your name doesn't correspond with what I wrote, and so it visually took me a little bit longer to get that worked out. Okay. Bien, I'm going to need to call people back from rooms. When we take you out of a Zoom breakout room into the big group, it always gives you a 60-minute countdown. So it is doing that for everybody now, just so that you're familiar with that. And it will automatically bring you back in. Some people do choose to go back in early. I may actually leave this group early so that I can monitor everybody. Okay, para que sepan, so you guys know. Hey. Excelente. Excelente. Aquí estamos. Here we are. I think we're waiting on a couple more people to pop back in. Está bien. Okay. ¿Y cómo fue? Did that go okay for you guys? See?
Sí.
Yeah. And today was a little bit rocky. I will get faster. And part of it was a visual thing. The way I write you in is not the way that Zoom lists you all the time. So I was visually a little torpe, clumsy. But I will get faster at that next time around, to be a little bit faster. Okay. Bueno. Vamos a hablar. We're going to use some little more challenging numbers also next week. I'm going to preview what you're going to do or what you're going to need to work on. And I will kind of give you more specific instructions in the email per the group you are in. I want you to prep that item you're going to describe in your little group. Okay, and that's going to be something that you do kind of early in our session, next session. Okay, so you're going to pick a thing to describe to your group, have some fun with that. Also, one thing.
Just one thing, right? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, just one thing. Because if you're in a group with 4 people, right? Yeah.
Right.
You want to say 4 sentences about a thing, that's going to take you a while. Yeah. And for 4 people to all do that, that will take a bit. So that is going to take a good 10 minutes, I'm quite sure. So most of you are going to prep that. Okay. I will, just so you know, the people who are in the lower groups, I will be coming in with you personally to, I'm going to portion 5 minutes with one group, 5 with another, so that I can monitor you guys a little bit more closely with describing a thing. Or I may put really all of you into one slightly larger group so we can do that a little bit easier. Yeah. So I want you to do that. I'm also going to send you, I also want you to talk in your small group. Beside dividing it, we're going to have a separate breakout session to talk more about prices, but I want you to come prepared with a couple of receipts. Bring in 2 receipts to practice in a shorter breakout group, some bigger numbers. I want you to practice what a typical grocery bill total is. The total, not reading off every price on your grocery bill, but the total. What your total bill is for the week, okay? And that may vary quite a lot depending on how many people are in your household. So I want you to come prepared. We'll do a separate breakout again on product prices, but what you're going to be prepared for in that breakout session number 2 is to talk about your total grocery bill, how much it is. And you may want to have handy also a typical credit card bill, you know, for typical things that you buy. So maybe 2 little things to practice some prices. And I'll have some surprise items for you to guess a price as well. Okay. So it'll be a pricing kind of 2 breakout sessions, right? One you're describing a thing, one you're talking about some prices. So those are going to be 2 separate groups. I'm also going to give you some videos to watch on how to make some simple comparisons. Okay. So I'm going to want you to watch that for some homework. And they're going to be 2 videos, and they're going to talk about some simple ways we can make comparisons. And then I'll give you a short lesson. So the lesson that will be for everybody, no matter what level you're at, is a simple thing that we'll talk about comparing things and saying some things are more of a certain quality or less of a certain quality or better or worse. Okay, some ways to make simple comparisons. Does that make sense to you guys? See? Bien?
Yeah.
Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any kind of question?
One more question before for the homework that you're talking about, the bill for a week. So that means that we have to, like, you know, think it's like combined from one bill to another, because you know you don't do it in one time. So you're gonna mention it like, okay, this bill plus this bill plus this bill. That's how we do it.
No,
just the total.
No. La comida, the food. La comida de la semana, the food of the week. El total es, the total is, ¿sí? Bueno, la comida de batches para esa semana cuesta, and you're just going to give the total at the bottom. Boom.
That's it.
That's going to be a short breakout. And then maybe your visa and a bunch of things. Okay. See, Cindy.
Yes. So next week, if we want to listen to what the short class would be, what time is the start? And also
yes. Okay. Short will be 10 o'clock to
11:30.
Yeah. To 11:30. See? Bien?
Okay.
Oh yeah, and I'm forgetting because
for next week,
got to be 11:30. We've got about. I planned my thing. See, that time thing got me all messed up. We've got extra time. See, yeah, it'll be 10. Even 10 though to 11:30. I know I've got to go longer. See,
even though we're not scheduled for class, I thought you said you just have a short class on Martin Luther King.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, all right. Your question is next week. Yes. This grocery bill thing is not for next week because next week is not an official class. Okay. And I'm penalizing somebody if they say, I've got a Fed holiday and I plan to take off. So, it won't be for that. Sí, tienen razón. You are right.
But what time? At 10 o'clock
to 11:30 will be official. And 9:30 till 10 o'clock will be fun and games kind of stuff.
Okay. And then next week for the unofficial class, what time?
Gracias. Sí. Unofficial class will be just 10 to 11. Boom.
Okay.
Bien. And I needed to leave extra time so we could explain all this stuff. Lo siento. I'm sorry. Nora, was that your question too?
Yeah, it was what the official start time was going to be going forward.
You're right. So how we'll do this, just, and I knew we were going to need some extra time with explaining this. Okay, official time for class is going to be 10 to 11:30. But those who, because they've been accustomed for ages to a 9:30 start date, I will open it at 9:30. 9:30 to 10 will be fun and games stuff. Yeah, fun and games stuff. If you miss 9:30 till 10, if you miss 9:30 till 10, no big deal. It's extra guessing and other stuff that it does not. I will not tie anything that is homework into the 9:30 till 10 o'clock. It makes sense to everybody? Because I had some people from the 9 that they were so used to 9:30 start period, and some people have to leave early. So I'm trying to kind of accommodate all needs. Yeah, see, bien, yeah, bien. Okay.
Marilyn, if everybody agrees that we went 9:30 to 11, if there's anybody that doesn't agree, they could say so. But if we all agreed to have 9:30 to 11, would that work?
That would work, but I would have to have 100% consensus. So essentially, if you are a new person and you're like, hey, I set up my schedule because it said printed 10 o'clock, then I have to honor that.
So could we say that anybody that doesn't like 9:30 to 11 could write you privately, and then you could?
Absolutely. I would want people to email me privately. So I will, we will put that basically in the email. Let me know, but I don't think I can do this by omission if I don't hear from you, because something will mess up with that.
Do you want us to say?
Basically, everybody will have to email me, and I want that to be a private thing because I don't want somebody to feel like I am the,
Understood.
I'm the one who wanted 10 o'clock. I don't want people to feel, pressure. So email me about that.
All right, everyone should write you.
Okay.
Write me separately, because I don't want it to be a public thing or where people feel
Bueno.
messed up. Bien? Okay? Bien?
Bien.
Bien. Okay. Très bien. Muy bien. Muy bien. Okay. Vamos. So now I'm going to, see.
Now we all write you to let you know that you all write you.
See, please. And I will put that in the email. Everybody, please send me a quick email just with the number. 9:30 or 10 o'clock. That's all you're going to have to email me. Okay. Yeah. I want to preview some things we're going to talk about so that maybe you can, next session through, think about this. El precio, because some of you may be a little bit challenged. So I want you to be able to have a chance to prep. Again, practicing with some numbers. Vamos a hablar de cuál es el precio típico de cada producto. ¿Cuál es el precio típico? What's the
typical price
de cada
of
producto?
this product?
Of each product.
Each.
¿Cuál es means what is, even though cuál technically means which. ¿Cuál es el precio? Asks you to pick out of all the possible prices. This is why this is a preview. ¿Cuál es, even though we would in English say what is, ¿cuál es really means which is. ¿Cuál es el precio? Asks you to pick out of a possible basket full of prices. ¿Cuáles is the question word we use to pick something out of a large group. So out of all the things that could be possible prices, I have to ask it as ¿cuál es? ¿Cuál es el precio típico what's the typical price de cada producto? So this is something you're going to ponder a little bit because some of you may not shop a lot. You may need to think about this a little more and you're going to need to use some bigger numbers. ¿Cuál es el precio típico? This is something you're going to use next time. ¿Cuál es el precio típico de las pilas, batteries? 20, ¿sí? ¿Cuál es el precio típico de los zapatos? ¿Sí? Los de los zapatos. ¿Cuál es el precio de papel higiénico? ¿Cuál es el precio de papel higiénico? What's the price of
It's going to be able to.
a pack of toilet paper? ¿Cuál es el precio típico de
Chaqueta.
una chaqueta, un abrigo?
Abrigado, abrigo.
Abrigo would be a winter
Abrigo.
coat. Sí, un
Yeah.
abrigo o una chaqueta. ¿Sí? ¿Cuál es el precio? ¿Cuál es el precio típico de
Adora.
sí, de un portátil, de una computadora? Computadora es computer, un portátil, a laptop, un portátil. ¿Bien?
Portable.
¿Y cuál es el precio típico de un carro? So, your first Zoom is going to be with your surprise item that you're describing, right? Your second Zoom breakout room session will be using your grocery list, and then you're also going to talk about these typical prices. Does that make sense? Those are going to be your two prep things that you need to do some prep for. And I will send you these files so that you see how this all groups together. And I'll put in your grocery bill thing at the bottom of this set of files so that you know exactly what to prep. So you're prepping your surprise item that you're describing for Zoom breakout number 1. You're prepping your Zoom your Zoom session number 2 with typical prices, and you're going to tag your grocery prices. Does that make sense?
Yep.
¿Sí?
Sí.
¿Claro? ¿Bien? Ok.
Bien.
Excelente, fantástico. Vamos a hablar un poquito de algo interesante. We're going to do one last kind of fun thing.
So, and what time do you want to?
And one of you may want to mute yourselves.
Can people mute themselves,
Yeah.
please?
If you're not on.
If that doesn't work, I'll try to think of something else.
Yeah.
Carolyn, I think you can mute Jan's line.
All right. Well,
It's her.
Jan, mute yourself.
Yeah.
I think that did it. Okay, bien. Mejor, better. Okay. Vamos a ver. Okay, we've got a couple fun things to finish up with. See, algo quizás. Vamos a ver. Algo divertido. We're going to have something fun. We're going to finish up with. Es una tradición del Año Nuevo. Es una tradición del Año Nuevo. ¿Qué quiere decir una tradición del Año Nuevo?
A traditional for New Year.
A tradition for New Year, ¿sí? Una tradición, pero no es una tradición de Estados Unidos. Esta es una tradición en Colombia. En Colombia. Vamos a ver, ¿ok? ¿Pueden ver? Can you see her?
Sí.
Pueden ver a María. Ok, vamos a ver.
Let's burn this doll to get rid of the bad energies of this year and start fresh next year. This is an Año Viejo doll. Let's see what's inside. This is the doll. A mysterious liquid. Might be alcohol. Ooh, money. $20. Wait, it's fake. And a bunch of newspaper. People in Colombia burn these dolls on New Year's Eve. Most of the time they make their own with old clothes. But we don't have time for that. So let's make our wishes and set this doll on fire. ¡Feliz año!
¡Qué divertido! ¡Wow! Muy divertido. That is a very fun thing they do in Colombia. Bueno, ¿cuáles son? Sí, queman a una muñeca. Wow, they burn a doll. Otras tradiciones. En México, para el año nuevo en México es una costumbre tener tomar la maleta. ¿Qué es una maleta?
Suitcase.
Suitcase. Tomar una maleta y correr.
To walk, to run.
Correr en el barrio. Afuera, en el barrio, en la casa no. Tomar la maleta fuera de la casa y correr en el barrio.
Around the neighborhood.
It is a custom to take out your suitcase and run around the neighborhood with your suitcase. Literally, not a joke. Sí, es de verdad, es verdad. And that is supposed to give you good luck to travel in the new year. Bien. Otra costumbre en México, en Latinoamérica también, es poner ropa interior. ¿Qué es?
Underwear.
Ropa interior de colores.
Colored underwear. Whoa.
Por ejemplo, sí. Por ejemplo, si tú personalmente quieres tener más amor en la vida, ¿sí? Hay que llevar ropa interior de color rojo.
Rojo.
¿Sí? Ropa interior roja, ¿sí? Para amor en el nuevo año. Si tú personalmente quieres tener más dinero,
sí.
En el año nuevo, hay que ponerte ropa interior amarilla. Ropa interior amarilla es para dinero. ¿Sí? Ropa interior de color rojo, ropa interior roja es para amor. ¿Bien? Cosas curiosas. ¿Qué hacen ustedes en el año nuevo? ¿Tienes tú una tradición personal? Do you have a personal tradition, sí? Para el año nuevo.
No.
Una botella de champaña, ¿nada?
Oh, sí.
Sí.
Sí. Ok. ¿Qué haces en el año nuevo para el New Year's Eve se llama la noche vieja, old
years.
Old night.
Yeah.
¿Sí? ¿Qué haces? What do you do? ¿Qué haces en la noche vieja? Sí, para empezar el año nuevo.
Salgo con mis amigos a la cenar y vamos a casa temprano.
Temprano como la 1 de la mañana.
Nuevo.
¿La 1 de la mañana o no? ¿No? Ok. Bien. Bueno, ¿qué más?
Mi familia y yo comemos pescado.
Ok, bien. Excelente, sí. En mi casa tenemos aquí con mi familia una cena especial, pero no es nada específica como pavo, like turkey, sí, algo especial, pero siempre algo diferente. Ok, hay otras tradiciones.
Hacer resolución.
Hacer resoluciones. Bien. Catherine, otra cosa.
Mi casa jugamos juegos de mesa.
Bien. Juegos, sí, siempre. Excelente. Otras tradiciones en el año nuevo. ¿Hay otras?
Nada.
Nada.
Vamos a dormir temprano.
Vamos a dormir temprano. Bueno, en tu barrio, in your neighborhood, en tu barrio, hay personas que usan cohetes.
Fireworks.
Fireworks.
Hay personas que usan, sí, cohetes. Cohetes, ¿o no?
No.
¿No? Ok.
Escuchó mucho.
Ok, bien. En mi barrio hay personas que usan cohetes de vez en cuando, ¿sí? Pero todo el tiempo no. Ok, hay otras tradiciones. ¿Algunas bebidas especiales para el año nuevo o no?
Champaña.
Tomo el champaña.
La champaña, sí.
Champaña.
Muchas.
Muchas botellas. Bien, excelente, ¿sí? Ok, tengo una amiga y ella es de Georgia. Una amiga mía es de Georgia y en su familia, para el año nuevo, es una tradición comer frijoles especiales, pero son, creo que no hay una palabra española. En inglés se dice sí, black eyed peas. En su familia es una tradición comer, sí, los frijoles que se llaman en Estados Unidos black eyed peas en Georgia.
En Mississippi. ¿Cómo?
And Texas.
Y Texas. Y Mississippi. Sí, en el sur. No sé, es curioso. ¿Por qué en el sur, pero no en el norte? No sé, Cindy.
In Georgia, también black-eyed peas and turnip greens. You have to have turnip greens. That's for money for the future.
Es para dinero. Es para dinero en el futuro.
Yo como black eyed peas.
Sí. Ok. ¿Y de dónde eres? Where are you from? Originalmente.
Arkansas.
Bien, ok. Entonces en el sur, pero en el norte no. Es curioso, ¿no? Que
Traditional. Made up myself.
Sí, hay costumbres en el sur, hay costumbres en el norte y no son iguales. No son iguales. They are not the
same.
No son iguales. Qué curioso. Okay.
Is there a purpose of it? Like, is there any why they eat that? Like on that?
¿Por
I think it's
qué?
good luck.
Aquí, we need the why word. ¿Por qué?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué se come? ¿Por qué se come una cosa como frijoles? No sé. Ustedes saben. You guys know? Ni idea.
Buena suerte.
Para buena suerte. Para buena
Okay.
suerte. Frijoles, buena suerte. Ah, es interesante. En Colombia también, la mujer, the woman you saw earlier with the doll, con la muñeca, with burning that doll thing, otra costumbre es poner lentiles. They do put beans, but kind of like the hard beans. You put beans in your pocket for good luck in Colombia. That's another thing they do, but just in Colombia. I don't think they do that one in Mexico. In Mexico, no.
According to the internet, the tradition of eating black-eyed peas dates back to the Civil War, and you eat them with greens like collards, mustards, or turnips to represent paper money.
Wow.
Started in the Civil
Verde. Un vegetal verde. Un vegetal verde. Bien. Ay, bien. Ok. Peace, buena suerte. Sí, salud. Buena salud. Sí. Y la abundancia. Muy bien. Ok. Excelente.
To bring your money in the new year, is that?
Dinero.
And it says the best chance of luck is to eat 365 black-eyed peas, one for every day of the year. No more, no less.
Okay.
Well, you have to count it.
Okay. Hay una tradición más, que es una tradición muy famosa. Es una tradición más famosa. Here's a preview. Más famosa. Más famosa en España y en México, pero no necesariamente en toda Latinoamérica. En toda Latinoamérica, no. Pero en México sí, en España sí. Es una tradición a las 9, a la medianoche. Medianoche es midnight. Sí, cuando toca la campana de medianoche, hay que comer 12 uvas.
Well, what?
12 uvas.
Eggs?
¿Qué son uvas? Uvas son una fruta.
Grapes.
Yes.
Uvas.
Hay que comer 12 uvas.
Grapes.
You need to eat 1 grape for every stroke of the clock as the clock tolls midnight.
Oh, wow.
This is a very famous thing to do in Spain. It actually originated not that long ago when they had an excess of grape crops and they were looking for a way to get rid of that stuff. And it, for some reason, caught on, and people will bring out a little cup full of 12, and it must be 12 grapes. And you may think, well, that's not so hard, but when you got to eat and swallow 12 grapes in exactly 1 minute, it becomes the big chipmunk cheek thing. So just some little things of what happens around the world. Okay. Por todas partes.
Did you try that?
Oh, sí.
No.
Es difícil. No es fácil. Es muy difícil. And that it is, but it is a thing for good luck. Sí, también. Buena suerte, para la buena suerte.
Buena suerte.
Okay. So I wanted to end up with some fun things on el nuevo año, el año nuevo, New Year's. See? So you're going to prep for me some of the prices of items and your grocery list. You're going to prep for me an item you will use to talk about for your class. So you will do much more talking in 2 separate breakout rooms. I promise I will be faster with getting that set up next week. Y eso es, that's it. Sí, eso es. ¿Está bien?
Sí.
¿Está bien?
Sí, está bien.
Excelente. Y instrucciones. I will send you instructions in the email that will follow up with class. Okay. Fue un placer. Okay. ¿Está bien? All good? ¿Está bien?
Está bien.
Adiós.
Okay.
Adiós.
Adiós.
Excelente. Nos
Gracias.
vemos.
Hasta luego.
Bye-bye.
And we'll do just a little fun, unofficial Zoom next week.
Está bien.
Not really lesson oriented. Okay. Nos vemos.